Right now, somewhere in America, a crew member at McDonald's is standing over a grill making $12 an hour. Their hands are greasy. Their shirt smells like cooking oil. They made the company $3,000 in sales today. They took home $96. At the exact same time, in a glass office at 110 North Carpenter Street in Chicago, a man in a suit is deciding whether to bring back a limited-time menu item for 14,000 restaurants. He makes $20 million a year, same company, but a different lifestyle. I am your POV guy who is going to be you today and show you how it feels to climb from the very bottom of McDonald's all the way to the top, where one person makes $20 million a year and has never once burned their hand on a fry basket. Level 1. Crew member. You are making $12 to $14 an hour, and depending on what state you live in, that number could be wildly different. A crew member in California is making $20 because the state passed a law. A crew member in Mississippi is making $7.25, which is the federal minimum. Exact same job. One person can almost pay rent, the other one cannot. Your annual income is about $25,000 if you get full-time hours, which most crew members do not. You get 25, maybe 30 hours a week, and the schedule changes every 7 days, so you cannot pick up a second job because you never know when McDonald's needs you. You are basically on call for $12 an hour, and the work never stops. You rotate through every station. You are on grill, then fries, then drive-through, then front counter. You get to the point where you can put a Big Mac together in under 40 seconds without thinking about it. The fryer timer beeping is literally the soundtrack of your life, and nobody says thank you. A customer grabs the bag, pulls away, does not even look at you. Next car, do it again. But here is the thing that will bother you once you figure it out. Your store did $8,000 in sales today. You took home $96, and the person who owns this building, they were not even here. They have not shown up in 3 days, and they are pulling $150,000 a year off this one location. You do not know that number yet, but once you do, you will never look at this place the same way. So how do you move up? You do not need to be smart. You need to be the person who shows up when nobody else does. That is it. Reliability is the entire game at this level. Level 2. Shift manager. You got promoted. Your raise was about $3 an hour. You are now making $15, $16 an hour. And the amount of stuff that just landed on your shoulders is kind of insane. You are running the building for 8 hours, 15 people report to you. You are dealing with the customer who ate half a burger and wants a full refund. You are jumping on the fryer because somebody called in sick again, and that happens at least twice a week. You count the cash drawer at close. You lock the doors. You have keys now, which sounds cool until you realize it just means more problems are yours. And here is the part that messes with your head when you actually think about it. You are managing $10,000 in daily sales. That is $300,000 a month running through this building. You are responsible for all of it. And your annual pay is $32,000. You are basically running a $3 million business for $32,000 a year. Nobody frames it that way, but that is what is happening. And something starts changing in your brain at this level. You start paying attention to the labor percentage on the daily report. You notice when food waste spikes. You realize that corporate is tracking drive-through speed down to the second, and when that number slips, your GM gets a phone call. You are still wearing a headset and you still smell like fries when you get home, but you are starting to see the business underneath the burgers, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Level 3. Assistant manager. This is your first salaried position, and I need you to understand what salaried actually means at McDonald's. It means they pay you $40,000 to $45,000 a year, and they can work you 55 hours a week, and there is no overtime. That concept just disappears. You are on salary, and the building needs what it needs. But what you get in return is real. You are handling hiring now, you manage inventory, you are tracking food cost percentage down to the decimal. You build the weekly labor schedule, which is basically a puzzle where you are trying to staff the building without blowing the payroll budget. And this is the first time in your career where you stop thinking about burgers and start thinking about margins. Your GM pulls up the monthly numbers one day and walks you through them. The store does $250,000 in revenue. Sounds like a lot. Then you see food cost at $80,000 and labor at $70,000. then rent, royalties, marketing fund, insurance, maintenance, and after all of that, the owner is keeping maybe $12,000 to $20,000 a month. On $250,000 in revenue, that number shocks you because you assumed this place was printing money. It is not. The margins are razor thin. One piece of equipment breaks, one employee steals from the register, and an entire month's profit is gone, and you start doing something you have never done before. You go home at night and you Google how to become a McDonald's franchise owner. You start reading about franchise costs, profit margins, approval requirements. You are not just clocking in anymore. You are studying the system from the inside, and it turns out the system is way more interesting than you expected. Level 4, General Manager. At this level, you are the store. I am not being dramatic. You are literally the store. Your salary is somewhere between $55,000 and $80,000. Everything runs through you. Hiring, firing, the P&L, the spreadsheets, the schedules, everything. And you are doing all of this from an office the size of a closet tucked behind the kitchen while your shift manager is yelling that they need more McChicken patties pulled from the freezer, and there is a line of cars wrapped around the building. Your store does $2.7 to $3.5 million a year in revenue. Every dollar is your responsibility, and the pressure is constant in a way that people outside this building will never understand. A bad health inspection is not just a fine, it can end your career. One employee posts a video of a dirty kitchen on TikTok, and you're getting a phone call from corporate that you really do not want to get. The franchise owner checks in once a week. If everything is running smooth, they leave you alone. You never hear from them. That is actually the best case scenario, because the moment your numbers slip, your phone rings at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and you can hear it in their voice whether you still have a job or not. And this is where the math starts making you a little bit crazy. Your store pulls in $2.7 million a year. You are making $65,000. The franchise owner, who shows up maybe once a month, is taking home $150,000 to $280,000 in profit. And some of these owners have 10 locations, so they are clearing over $1 million a year while you are running the day-to-day operation for $65,000. You start looking at the franchise ownership path for real, and then you see the entry ticket, $500,000 in liquid cash, $1 million net worth. The franchise fee alone is $45,000, and total investment is $1.3 to $2.5 million. You are making $65,000 a year. You are not climbing a ladder to get there. You are staring across a canyon, but you have something that most people who apply for a McDonald's franchise do not have. You actually know how this thing works from the inside. You have run the building. You know where the money goes, where it leaks, and what it takes to keep the machine running. That operating knowledge is worth more than any MBA. Level 5, District Manager. This is the level where you stop working inside a McDonald's and start driving between them. You oversee 5 to 8 locations. Your salary is $66,000 to $85,000 plus a performance bonus, and you get a company car. You show up at a store unannounced at 7 a.m., walk the floor, check the bathrooms, taste the fries, pull up the labor report on your laptop, talk to the GM, and then drive to the next one. Your territory is doing $15 to $20 million a year in combined revenue. You are the person who translates what corporate wants into what the restaurants can actually do. And here's the weird part about this level. You go home at night and you do not smell like fries anymore. That sounds like a small thing, but it is not. Your entire world has shifted. Your conversations are about turnover percentages and profit margins now, not about who called in sick for the lunch rush. You can see which GMs are strong and which stores are quietly losing money, and you can see it across 8 locations at once. You have a perspective that nobody below you has. But the person standing at the fry station right now doing the exact job you used to do feels a million miles away from you, even though that was you not that long ago. Level 6, Franchise Owner. This is the level that changes everything, and it is also the one that almost everybody gets wrong. To even be considered, you need $500,000 in liquid assets and a net worth of at least $1 million. The franchise fee is $45,000. Total investment is $1.3 to $2.5 million depending on the location. And even with all that money, McDonald's turns down most applicants. But here is the thing that completely changes how you understand this company. McDonald's does not really make its money selling burgers. McDonald's is a real estate company. They own or lease the land underneath 95% of their restaurants, and they sublease it to franchise owners at a markup. On top of that, you pay a 4% royalty and a 4% marketing fund contribution on your gross sales. Not your profit, your gross. So for every dollar that comes through the register, McDonald's is taking 8 cents off the top before you have paid for a single patty, a single employee, or a single electric bill. And they are not just taking a cut. They are your landlord. They control the brand, the menu, the supply chain, your operating hours, everything. They send inspectors. And if you fall below their standards, they can pull your franchise agreement. You lose the license, you lose the business, and you are still on the hook for whatever debt you took on to build it. So what do you actually keep? On a single location, doing $2.8 to $3.5 million in revenue, your profit is roughly $150,000 to $280,000 a year. That is a 6 to 10% margin. You put in over $1 million to clear $150,000. It is a real business, but it is not the gold mine most people imagine. Where the real money comes in is when you scale. The average McDonald's franchisee owns 7 to 10 locations. At that level, you are pulling in $1 to $2.5 million a year in combined profit. The biggest franchise families own 50 to 70 locations. That is a different universe entirely. But here is the thing that nobody in the franchise industry wants to admit. You own the operation, but McDonald's owns you. In 2025, they raised royalty rates 25% for new franchise agreements. They can force you to do expensive renovations. They can add menu items that destroy your kitchen workflow. And you cannot push back because the franchise agreement gives them the final word on everything. So yes, you are the richest person in the building, but you are still answering to somebody else. Level 7. Corporate VIPA. You work at McDonald's headquarters in Chicago. Your compensation package is somewhere between $215,000 and $700,000 when you factor in salary, stock, and bonus. Your stock options alone could be worth more than what a franchise owner clears in a year from one location. You are making decisions that affect 14,000 restaurants. When a new menu item rolls out nationwide, somebody at your level approved it. When a supply chain gets restructured in Southeast Asia, somebody at your level flew business class to handle it. Your choices ripple out to 200,000 employees, and almost none of them will ever hear your name. And there is an interesting tension at this level that most people do not know about. There are basically two kinds of VPs at McDonald's. The ones who started in the restaurants, worked the fryer, managed a store, climbed through district manager and regional director, and eventually ended up at corporate. And then there are the ones who came in sideways through MBA programs, from marketing, consulting, or finance. They have never worn a headset. They have never counted a cash drawer. They understand McDonald's as a brand and a stock price. Both kinds sit in the same room. Both look at the same numbers, but they are seeing two completely different companies. And the push and pull between those two perspectives is basically the engine behind every big decision McDonald's makes. Level 8, CEO. Chris Kempczynski, the chairman and CEO. His total compensation in 2025 was $20.57 million. That breaks down to $1.55 million in base salary, $8 million in stock awards, and the rest in bonuses and other comp. His pay was 1,014 times the median McDonald's employee salary. Let that actually register for a second. 1,014 times. The crew member who unlocked the store this morning and turned on the grills made about $96 today. The CEO made roughly $56,000 today. They work for the same company. Their names are both on a paycheck with the same Golden Arches logo. One of them went home smelling like cooking oil. The other one got into a town car. McDonald's has a market cap over $200 billion. There are 45,000 restaurants across 119 countries. System-wide sales hit $139 billion in 2025. At this level, the job has nothing to do with food. The CEO runs a real estate empire, a franchise licensing operation, a global supply chain, and a stock price. The burgers are honestly just the surface. But let me tell you the story that matters more than any of these numbers. In 1973, a teenager named Tim Fenton walked into a McDonald's in Utica, New York, and got a job as a crew member. He made minimum wage, same uniform as everybody else, same stations, same mop. 39 years later, that guy became the chief operating officer of McDonald's Corporation. He was responsible for over 33,500 restaurants in 119 countries. He worked every single level between crew member and COO, everyone. He retired in 2014 after 41 years with the company. And when people asked him why he was stepping down, he said his severe asthma made the constant global travel impossible. He did not want to leave. His body just could not do it anymore. That story is the one that makes this entire ladder feel real, because it proves that the distance between $12 an hour and the top of a $200 billion company is not impossible. It is just 39 years long. And honestly, most people are not willing to walk that far. So this is the thing nobody tells you when you pull into a McDonald's drive-thru and order your food. The person handing you the bag through that window made $96 today. The person managing that shift makes $32,000 a year. The person who runs the whole building makes $65,000. The person who owns it takes home $150,000. The person sitting in an office in Chicago makes $500,000, and the person at the very top makes $20 million. They all work for the same company. They all operate under the same golden arches. The only difference is what they see when they look at a McDonald's. At the bottom, it looks like a job. In the middle, it looks like a business. At the top, it looks like a machine, and the machine does not really care which level you are standing on. It just needs every level to keep moving. And if you think about it long enough, you realize something that the people who built this company understood from the very beginning. The system was never set up to reward the people who work the hardest. It was set up to reward the people who own the system. And the gap between working in it and owning it is basically the entire story of how American business works. You just happen to be looking at it through a drive-thru window. What world would you want to climb? Let me know below.